Are you ready to stop the cycle? Drowning in finance data complexity? Shackled by spreadsheets and endless closes? This ends now. Don't be fooled by Excel Plus workarounds that are just patches. The cost is immense. Over 65% of your team's potential buried. Strategic insights? Gone. Real-time agility? A dream. Your growth? On hold. Your CFO demands more. The clock is not ticking, it's exploding. This is your moment. This is your now. Stop waiting. Start leading. Reclaim your future. Visit Prophix.com/autonomous finance.
Hello, and welcome to the Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix. Today, we're going to explore how the Office of the CFO and finance teams are really moving from reconciling the past to shaping the future. We're going to be joined by executives from Prophix when they jump in to help us understand the vision, where the platform is, what they're announcing, and where it's going for finance teams in the future. Like the president and CEO of Prophix. Then we have Jeff, the Chief AI and Trust Officer for Prophix. Anurag, the Chief Technology Officer, will dive into the details of the platform, and Aaron, the Chief Financial Officer, will show us kind of what it means to be customer zero and understand how finance is actually shifting and changing and going towards that future. Then Vidya, the Chief Marketing Officer, will help me wrap it up. And we'll get some great insights from Craig Schiff, President and CEO, Lead Analyst at BPM Partners as well. Thank you for joining us, and let's jump in. Hello, and let me welcome Alok Ajmera, who's the President and CEO of Prophix, to the Future of Finance Revealed. Welcome on board.
Thanks, Rob. Really excited to be here.
I think one of the things that really excites me is that, the finance world is really changing and evolving and really buzzing about AI. And there's just so much that's going on, and CFOs are trying to figure out and grapple with what's going on day to day and long term and how AI is going to impact that. From your perspective, what is the current state of the Office of the CFO, and why is this conversation just so urgent?
Yeah, it's so interesting. For many years, we've been working with finance leaders, organizations, corporate finance teams, et cetera. And even today, organizations are employing their most professional finance leaders in incredibly manual processes, repetitive tasks, and they're spending a bunch of their time just wrangling information, hunting down answers. It's not about inefficiency, it's actually about missed opportunity. And really what's happening today is we're at this amazing inflection point, obviously with generative AI kind of getting to more maturity, such that we can go from streamlining work, which was really about taking something that took 2 weeks and cutting it down to a week, or a task that took 8 hours, cutting it down to 4 as an example, and really starting to get to an autonomous work environment. And that autonomous work environment is not about the streamlining of tasks, it's about eliminating and offloading entire tasks. So taking things from 8 hours, not to 4, 8 hours to 0, potentially. And we're at this amazing point where the technology has actually been evolving and accelerating and maturing, and organizations are now prepared for this type of technology to start making those massive leaps. It's interesting, a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I was at many of these roundtables talking about the future of finance and where, at that time, AI, which was driven by machine learning and natural language, where it was going to go. And if I think about what we were talking about then compared to where we are today, I think we were directionally correct, but in fact, we're already obsolete. And so this new paradigm shift is really about going from streamlining and automating work to making it completely autonomous. And then that rewrites the entire operating model for the CFO.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changing everybody, the processes, it's reinventing their processes. What do you see, and can you expand on what autonomous finance is in your vision of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, kind of what I was saying before, right? If you are taking work tasks and you're thinking about it in the context of time, and originally we were streamlining these, like how do you make them less manual, less involved? With autonomous finance, we're really thinking about how do we take these tasks and actually offload them. So you're thinking about a world in which the human operators are thinking more strategically, thinking about directionally where the organization wants to go, while offloading the work to actually AI agents. And the vision that we have is really built around 3 pillars. The first pillar really is real-time insight engine. So think of a world where anomalies are coming to meet you, right? As opposed to where we are today, where you're spending a copious amount of time hunting down the anomalies in the organization. So in this world and in this pillar, your month-end close happens on its own, right? As the close happens, insights, anomalies are being surfaced proactively, right? Instead of having to ask a question and get an answer, your questions are being anticipated and answers are being provided in advance. The second really pillar is around accelerating decision-making. So in this world, we're not running long forecasting processes, we're not running long budget processes. Simulations, scenarios, they're just happening real time, right? Your AI agents are actually building real-time scenarios, understanding new data points that are coming in, understanding projections, and really trying to help you triangulate where the business is trending and operationally what could be done to actually help course correct. So in that world, you really think about AI agents streamlining the tasks of building scenarios, but then also driving operational insights so you can be armed to make better decisions. And the final real pillar, this idea of a strategic operator, at the end of the day, it's this pivot from the Office of the Finance being the team that says no to really the teams being, here's how we get there.
Right, being a partner.
Being a real partner. And we've actually been talking about this partner shift for many years, but I think this technological advance is really the next level to help you go from task orientation, execution orientation, to really elevate it, thinking about the strategy of the organization, helping shape the strategy of the organization, and then most importantly, not focused on finance execution, but really partnering with the business to ensure crisp execution throughout the entire organization. And that's really the pivot that we see going from where we are today in the current state to really an autonomous finance world.
Yeah, I think to me that is one of the keys, is really taking the toil out of everyday work and helping them be more strategic. My product roles in the past, I've worked hand in hand with the Office of Finance and CFO, and really, how do we become very strategic in how we think and how we price and how we do all these things. And this gives them, hey, it's not they're stuck doing other stuff, like you said, closing the month, the quarter, the year. They're helping me. But you guys are unveiling some stuff today, and it really, fits into that vision. Why don't you kind of explain how this fits into the vision of what you're unveiling today with the Office of the CFO?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Look, this has been a journey that we've been on for a while. 5-6 years ago, we built out our AI labs, and we were heavily focused on machine learning and at that time natural language processing, and we were looking for ways to infuse AI into the fabric of our application to really help our customers. Earlier this year, we launched our first technology using generative AI, Prophix One Intelligence. And if you think about Prophix One Intelligence, it's all about the co-pilot experience. How do you ask questions and how do you get answers, right? How do you drive insights for people in the organization? What we're super excited about today is taking that kind of co-pilot foundation and starting to layer on short-term memory, long-term memory. How do you layer on learning? How do you layer on reasoning, such that you can actually start getting real agentic capabilities? And that's really what we're doing. We're launching a whole suite of purpose-built agents that are really going from how do you ask a question and get an answer to how do you ask for a task to be done and offload the work to an AI agent. And for us, it's absolutely game-changing. Like, this is the major step forward between kind of, again, co-pilot towards that autonomous finance future. And the way I think about this often with our customers is, what would you do in your organization if you could hire an unlimited number of financial analysts? How much materially better could you make your organization? And that's really what we're unlocking for our customers, is how do you use an unlimited number of AI agents to drive your business forward? And today is the launch of a whole suite of these agents, and we're super excited for where that can go.
Yeah, I think that really brings it to a fine point. And I think one of the things, though, is that people really look at AI and they have both the excitement and trepidation with the fact that, hey, this could potentially replace me. How do you see, and how do you really see this addressing the concerns of AI and making their skill sets irrelevant?
Yeah, it's a legitimate thought process, right? At the end of the day, we're all humans, right? A couple things I would say. First of all, just on AI in general, at the end of the day, we should always remember that AI is really just mathematics. Like, there's no science fiction to this. It's just math, right? And the natural thinking is that actually it's substantially more than it is. And so first, just a reminder for everyone that at the behind the scenes, what's actually happening is just complex mathematics at a massive scale from a data perspective, right? And that's very different than Iron Man's Jarvis, who has like a consciousness,
right?
Correct? Now, to go back to your question around like, should people be afraid? Is it going to replace jobs or not? Look, right now, I would say that the real risk that people and organizations have is not that AI is going to take the job of an individual. It's actually that an individual using AI is going to be doing your job better than you. And on a person level, that actually puts on risk to you. Someone could come in and actually do your job better. Organizationally, it means that your competitors could be actually extracting strategic value from the technology, potentially leaving you behind as an organization. And that's probably the more realistic short-term risk, if you will, around AI as it pertains to people.
Yeah, I think that is one of the major fears out there. But also the other fear is, how do you adopt AI? And with Prophix One, how do you see, finance teams really getting started in adopting AI? And do they really need to be an expert in AI to get started?
Yeah. Look, I think what's interesting about this technology evolution, unlike any other technology evolution in the past, is that every single person in the world has access to the same underlying tech, right? My kids use generative AI capabilities similar to what my organization has access to. So that in itself is a really unique position. Normally, like major advances are extraordinarily cost prohibiting, which means not everyone can get access to it. And so what I would encourage everyone, to think about is, how are you using generative AI technology today? You should be. Your organization should be. And what we've done with Prophix One is we've really taken some of the major concerns that people have around data security, trust, privacy, all of these things, and actually enveloped it into our ecosystem. So those things are taken off the table. Those risk points are taken off the table. And that really allows the technology to meet the users at the point that they are in their journey. And that's the other interesting thing. This is evolving really quickly. And so some people, some organizations are really early on. They're starting to put their toe in the water. They're thinking about using AI. They're nervous, which is totally understandable. And so for those people, really starting with the Prophix One Intelligent Copilot, asking questions, getting answers, getting insights surfaced up, that's a really good starting point for people in their journey. Now, if you're further along that spectrum and you're definitely more advanced in your use of AI, then the next step is really on the agentic side. How do you take tasks that you're doing and offload those to agents, right? In this world, you're not removing a human from the process. You're not just saying, hey, look, build these models on my behalf or run scenarios that you don't understand. What you're doing is you're saying, how do I take some of the work that I'm doing and offload it? Much like you would if you could just hire another analyst, right? You got to think about these agents as just other digital people. And so if you could offload your work, that's the next major step in your evolution, right? Is like free up time and energy so you can elevate, be more thoughtful about the business, be more strategic, think about the parameters around how AI is working, but you're still there to look over the work. You're still there to approve the work. You're just not having to do the work,
right?
Which is great. And then the last part of that spectrum, if you will, is the final pivot to strategic. It's like if you're starting to empower your organization with insights. You're starting to offload work so you can elevate. The last piece is like, how do you lean into the new role of a finance leader? How do you start leaning into, not just writing the history of the organization or recording the history, sorry. How do you start really thinking about shaping the future? How do you start collaborating with your organizational peers? How are you partnering better so that you can drive differentiation? And for any business, that could be anything. How do you drive scale? How do we grow the business faster? How do we, find better margins and drive efficiencies to generate more cash, right? These are the things that drive value in the business. And that's the last pivot. It's like, how do you redefine the role of the team to be leaning heavily into value creation from a business perspective?
Yeah, I love that. I think that is a great way to kind of summarize what agents are in the Prophix world and in Prophix One, and what really it brings to the table to help organizations as they become more strategic. Like I said, I love the office of the CFO and partnering up with them, and I can't wait for them to have that much more toil off their plate when they use your agents. So thanks for coming on board. Really appreciate this. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Rob. Super excited to talk about this.
And thank you for watching this episode, and we'll be right back with more from the Future of Finance Revealed with Prophix.
Your business is growing fast, but you're bogged down, chasing data, fixing reports, sifting through errors. You need better clarity, more capacity, greater confidence, and you need it now. Say hello to the Prophix One agents. Finance intelligence that works for you, autonomously. The budgeting agent kickstarts your plan. Budgets aligned, distributed, and coordinated in seconds, not days. The reporting agent organizes your data. Board decks, summaries, and reports all neatly packaged with just a click. The modeling agent anticipates what's next. Your models are adapted and updated automatically. Break free from the manual grind. Have clarity in your numbers, capacity for what matters, and the confidence to lead. This is autonomous finance. This is the future. And with Prophix One, the future is here.
Hello, welcome back to Prophix, the Future of Finance Revealed. From beautiful Toronto, we have the sun breaking through the clouds, and just as sunny, I have Jeff Ng, who's the Chief AI Officer and Trust Officer with Prophix. Welcome on board.
Great to be here, Rob.
So this is really an exciting day with the announcements that are going on, but let's start kind of from a big picture perspective with what is Prophix One Intelligence?
Yeah. Our vision for Prophix One Intelligence is to deliver a conversational natural language interface that truly understands the office of the CFO. Through our Copilot interface, finance teams can interact with intelligent agents embedded across the Prophix One platform, utilizing all relevant connected data sources to create explainable outcomes. Whether to generate forecasts, continuously monitor data, quality, or orchestrate complex workflows spanning multiple applications. At its core, Prophix One Intelligence is a suite of AI services natively embedded into our platform. It acts as a centralized intelligence engine that powers planning, reporting, and close with explainable enterprise-grade AI. Our Prophix One platform has been architected to be future-ready, designed for scale, performance, and innovations like agentic AI, so our customers can grow with confidence.
Yeah, I think that is really exciting for the customers, but what are some of the concrete outcomes and that are delivered from this technology that are unlocked for those finance teams?
Yeah, we like to think of it in terms of the 3 C's: clarity, capacity, and confidence. It provides clarity through a single source of truth and instant answers to your financial questions. It gives you back capacity by automating high friction tasks, and it builds confidence with explainable outputs and controlled execution, so you can always trust the numbers.
That sounds incredibly powerful, and again, would give those customers a lot of confidence. So where do agents really show up first in the platform?
Our early skills for the agents are focused on the highest impact and friction jobs across the office of CFO. So as a financial or budget analyst, agents can assist with enterprise-wide personnel planning, operating expense planning, variance analysis triage, and narrative preparations. Tasks that often take a considerable amount of effort and people involved. And if you're a controller, agents assist with close workflow management, approvals, sensitivity analysis. They'll also help you administrate and provide model maintenance updates and provide data integration assistance.
So, I mean, that's exciting because I think a lot of that is the toil. So what are some of the concrete tasks that those organizations should notice right away?
You'll immediately notice fewer clicks and faster cycles. Agents can handle tasks like auto-spreading, updating lots of line item details at scale, provide variance and anomaly alerts with recommended actions, and draft narratives for board presentations and month-end reports. You'll also get proactive alerts to keep you on top of your data.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that also brings up is that organizations really are concerned with trust and privacy. You're the perfect person to be answering this. AI is really not that simple for people to, get their minds around. What's Prophix' position on trust and privacy, and how do you address these concerns?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Rob. At Prophix, we believe that trust and privacy are the foundations of responsible AI. We've embedded responsible AI into our platform from the ground up with a focus on transparency, trust, customer control, and fairness. So our customers know when AI is being used, how it benefits them, and what its limits are. Trust is non-negotiable for us. We protect customer data with leading global security and privacy standards, and we never use it beyond agreed purposes. We put customers firmly in control. So for our AI features, customers have the choice to switch them on and off, and we actively shape our roadmap with their feedback and concerns in mind. And because AI must work for everyone, we test for bias, apply guardrails, and design for fairness. So to reinforce these commitments, Prophix has also earned TrustArc's Responsible AI certification, aligning us with important standards in the EU and ISO and just global AI principles. So our position on AI is simple: to deliver AI that is responsible, transparent, and human-centric, giving finance leaders the confidence to make better decisions.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing it in with the human in the loop and the trust and the privacy. This has been great. Thanks for coming on board here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob.
And thank you for watching this episode of The Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to The Future of Finance Revealed with Prophix. I'm going to welcome on board Anurag Yagnik, who's the Chief Technology Officer for Prophix. Welcome on board. And one of the things that I'm excited to have you on for is the fact that you're kind of the architect behind this all, making this all a reality. But everybody really wants to see what's going on. Can you show us these new agents and help us get a glimpse behind the scenes on what is being announced today?
Hey, Rob. Great to be here, and I'd love to talk about it. But as you said, it's a lot better to see it. So let's take a look at a live demo first.
Imagine it's November 2025, the time when Jordan normally kicks off the budgeting process. This year, the budgeting agent proactively reminds him to get started and offers to set everything up. Jordan provides a few high-level guidelines in plain language, a 3% increase in OPEX, and a requirement that any line item above 5% must include a comment. He also adds deadlines. From there, the agent takes over, configuring the entire workflow. It creates templates, sets up notification emails, and prepares a distribution list for 127 department heads. Jordan opens the workflow link to review. The agent asks what data should populate the templates, and Jordan instructs it to use January through October actuals, plus machine learning forecasts for November and December. Within minutes, the templates are ready. Jordan checks the auto-populated templates. Everything looks good, so he tells the agent to send out the kickoff emails. Now let's follow Zara, head of product marketing, as she receives her email to begin her OPEX budget. The agent guides her through her pre-filled template with clear instructions and smart prompts. Sales is targeting 10% growth. Would you like to increase advertising by 10% as well? Zara says yes, and the agent updates the figure applying seasonal distribution and logging the rationale. Next, Zara enters 10% of employee salaries for business license fees. The agent calculates the amount, offers options for distribution, and Zara selects an even spread. Because this is a large change, the agent automatically flags it and requests a comment, which Zara provides. Zara finalizes her changes and asks the agent to submit for her. The agent immediately notifies Jordan that product marketing's budget is ready for review. It provides a clear summary of changes and key highlights, such as a 10% increase in advertising aligned to sales growth. Jordan compares this version against the forecast. The agent surfaces key variances and shares a link to the full variance report. Confident in the submission, Jordan approves the budget. The agent records it and automatically reminds any departments still outstanding. In summary, both Jordan and Zara save significant time and effort. For Jordan, no need to manually prepare templates, coordinate timelines, or chase updates. He simply sets the parameters and validates submissions while the agent handles the heavy lifting. For Zara, a pre-filled, personalized starting point with contextual guidance. She adjusts values quickly, addresses anomalies proactively, and submits without endless back and forth. The result? A more accurate budget, faster cycle times, and a smoother, less resource-intensive process for everyone involved.
Wow, that was really great. I really love seeing it. Again, I'm much a visual person as well. What else is going on behind here?
Yeah, so what you saw is the amazing work done by the Prophix technology team. These are Prophix AI agents, and what they really do behind the scenes is they are self-directed pieces of software that are designed to achieve specific business goals. So what we've done here is that the Prophix AI agents are these pieces of technology that we've created to which we give specific business goals and then a set of tasks and a set of tools or capabilities within our Prophix One applications. And these agents then find the best way to call these tools to run these tasks to achieve those larger business goals. Now, let's take a specific example. So as you saw in the budgeting agent, right? So a prompt like, let's kick off the budgeting process for 2026. Now, sounds simple, but it's made up of a lot of different things, right? So you have to create the setup for the whole budgeting process for 2026. You have to set up the template of the budgeting process or the budgets themselves. You also have to give directives of what the budget's larger shape looks like in 2026. You also then have to do the manual process of identifying all the budget heads that need to be working with the budget. You have to send notifications to all these department heads that are going to work on the budget. So all of this would have taken hundreds of hours manually, right? So what we've done through these agents is that they do all of this on their own autonomously. And the idea here is to save so much manual labor and give our teams the ability to do all of this automatically.
Yeah, we talk about taking the toil out of things and the agents doing that. But one of the things that is, top of mind for every organization is really around trust. Yeah. Can you kind of talk to some of the technology behind the scenes that's enabling transparency and explainability?
Yeah, great question, right? So that's on everybody's mind. So our approach to Prophix One Intelligence is, let's build a glass box. And what that really means is that you have visibility into what is going on. There's full auditability. As you saw in the demo, we show you how the model is thinking, how our agents are thinking, so that you can, at any given point, check whether what it's doing is correct or not. You can click references for where it's pulling the data. So it all is kind of super transparent. And even this talk where we are explaining how the technology is working is all about giving confidence to our customers that there's no black magic here, even though it feels like black magic sometimes. It's really all super transparent.
Yeah, it allows them to go in and really have the human in the loop at that point and really do the checks and balances for that.
For sure. Anytime agents are not sure, they're not going to make stuff up. They always ask the user for confirmation, and they are always working with the user anytime there's a concern.
So let's take another step back, because data privacy and security is also top of mind, especially in AI. How do you really ensure that sensitive financial data is really protected?
Yeah. So, we want to build a lot of cool stuff. Our engineers are always trying to build the coolest thing on the planet, but what our customers are really worried about is not so fast, right? Privacy, security, and accuracy. That's what our customers care about. So, from a privacy perspective, it really comes down to not using the customer data to train the model. So the good news here is that we don't use what I like to call the canonical models in the sky that we have very little control over. They're controlled by these large foundational model providers like OpenAI or Anthropic. And these models running in the sky, you send your data over, you don't know what's going on. You check a little checkbox that says, we won't use your data for training, but there's really no way to ensure. So what we've done instead is that instead of using these canonical models in the sky, what we do is we use AWS Bedrock. And what that allows us to do is use a copy of one of these foundational models with no egress out of this system, so that customer data is never really ever reaching to foundational model providers. That gives our customers complete privacy. Go into security. So another approach that we've taken is we don't just give the LLM all the data and say, you know what, go nuts, train on this, and then just answer whatever the user asks. That's another very traditional approach. We didn't go with that. What we said instead was, hey, LLM, here are a set of tasks, and here are a set of tools, which are really data APIs that are presented by our applications. So the LLM then basically allows us to intelligently call these data APIs anytime there's a question or anytime there is access to data that is required to achieve a business goal. Now, all of these data APIs are the same ones that are used by Prophix One applications in general. And what that ensures is that all the authentication, authorization rules that the customers have set up apply in the AI scenario, just like they apply in any regular use case outside AI as well. So 100% guarantee that the users do not ever see data that they're not authorized to see.
So that really brings together the fact that the agent is really that partner to that person in finance and has the same kind of permissions.
Exactly. And the last point we didn't touch upon was accuracy, right? So a couple of things there. So use of data APIs, as we talked about, also ensures that we're giving customers the access to the latest and greatest data. There's no delay. There's no stale data that the model is trained on. So, we don't have a disclaimer that your data is as of 9 p.m. last night, none of that. You're getting access to real-time, most accurate data. That's one side of it. The other is the way we are using models from AWS Bedrock. It allows us to treat these models as a traditional software component within our solution. So what that really means is that if a new model is published, right, we don't have to push it. It doesn't automatically get pushed to customers' production environment. We can treat this as any other software update. We test it. We make sure it's working from a performance perspective, from a quality perspective, from a guardrails perspective. And when we feel good, we can push a new model out along with the rest of our software. So we've converted LLMs into a traditional software component, which is really great for us and for our customers.
No, I think that is fantastic. And you kind of mentioned it with the authentication and authorization and kind of the AAA aspects of security, the integration from a Prophix One Platform perspective. But how do these agents really integrate even further than just at the authorization level?
Yeah, so the great thing about the Prophix One intelligence is that it is a core component of Prophix One, the platform. And it has access to all the data across all of these different applications, all the workflows, all the security, all the configurations, all the integrations that we might have done with ERP, CRM, HRIS systems. All of that access is available to these agents. So there's nothing extra that anyone has to do. They're a part of the core platform.
So that may be, jogging in people's heads. Do I have to re-platform or change my existing structures to adopt these agents? What do you say to those organizations?
Well, I have great news for you. You have to do nothing. Prophix One Intelligence is really designed for zero time to value. So you just use the software as you have been using it now, and AI turns on if you choose to turn it on. AI just gives you the benefits without you having to re-platform or do anything, because that's how we've designed it.
I love it. I love how it's just built in from the beginning, inside there. Great stuff. Thanks, Anurag, for coming on board.
Thank you. And we can't wait for what users will do with our software.
It's always fun to see that, I'm sure. Being on the technology side, you always want to see that engagement. But thanks again.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this episode of The Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix. We'll be back from Toronto shortly. Hello and welcome back to Prophix's Future of Finance Revealed from beautiful Toronto. Really excited about this next guest, Aaron Levine, who's the Chief Financial Officer for Prophix. Welcome on board.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So as Prophix's CFO, you're really customer zero, and you have a really unique view into Prophix One Intelligence. Kind of help us understand the internal experience and what's been happening in your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool being the CFO for a company that sells into the office of the CFO. Obviously, I have a personal, understanding and kind of unique perspective on the company, on the product, and what we offer, as well as my team. Right, the team, also has, that kind of unique seat within the organization, and we really understand, the pain points that finance and accounting teams encounter, and kind of, some of the workflows that the teams, operate on. So yeah, it's been really cool, kind of being, customer zero. We've really been able to get hands-on in the product. We really have that, kind of direct line to the development team, and we've been able to kind of provide that direct feedback and, to help validate that the product delivers on its promise. So the team has been, hands-on grinding, and, we've really embraced Prophix One Intelligence and the AI agents, and, it's really been a massive kind of opportunity for us to get that firsthand experience and kind of understand the real world benefits. So yeah, our team has really been, living proof that, Prophix One is, kind of built by finance for finance teams.
And it gives you that added level of confidence as well as you're doing things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and can you elaborate on how embracing AI has really provided tangible benefit to your team and really in the day-to-day work, but also from an advanced modeling perspective and continuous planning?
Yeah, it's amazing how far, the function has come and the technology has come just in the last 6 months, a year, right? It's just a constantly evolving technology here. So it really has completely transformed, the way our team works. Any finance function, there's always a huge amount of manual, effort. There's time spent reconciling data, there's time spent on historical reporting. But I'll say, our time really has, shifted from that, those old workflows and some of that manual work. We've really shifted to more, of a strategic mindset. We're spending more time doing advanced modeling, what if scenarios, and really some more of that kind of strategic, initiative. So, look, let me give you a direct kind of example, and it'll be a simple example. But a typical workflow in any finance organization that I've worked at is, as the CFO, I may have a simple question. It's like, hey, what are the top 10 customers last month, right? So the typical workflow there is like, you'll email or message typically a director of finance. You say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Director of Finance, give me a list of the top 10 customers last month, right? Then they go log into the system. They do write an ad hoc report, or they use a pre-built report. They email me back or they message me back, and I say, hey, thank you. It would be great if you could put that in a chart. So they go back, put it in a chart, email me back. I say, hey, let's do a bar chart or maybe a line chart. And I say, hey, can we make this bar green or yellow or purple? And they go back and do that. So this whole elongated workflow really, sucks time for not only me as the CFO, but for finance teams. So Prophix One Intelligence really takes that elongated workflow, out of the picture. Right now, as a CFO, I can go into the platform and interact with the tool using natural language. I can ask directly, and have the tool provide, responses. The tool can give me that top 10 customers. They can put charts and graphs, and I can sort of iterate and, have a pretty chart that can, be dumped right into a board pack. So that whole sort of interaction has really been changed using the tool.
Yeah, it would seem that really helps your team and yourself scale, to put it mildly.
Absolutely. It really reduces, that manual, that manual work and the time spent on manual work. The AI agents really, take those repetitive tasks and they give my team an entirely new level of capacity. So finance teams know that old saying, ABC, always be closing, right? It's so true. By the time you close the books and close the GL and then flip it over to the finance team for analysis and reporting, the month is halfway over, right? And you're kind of right into the next month. So we really have, a new confidence in the numbers, and the tool really, acts as a driver to help us, evolve as a finance team. So,
yeah, I think that really drives home a couple of different things here. I mean, there's obviously some practical benefits that you're talking about, but it's really how it's changing and really giving you a new operating model as well. What do you think, from an approach to financial leadership, your team's role within the company is really being elevated in that because of the information that you're able to help bring to the table?
Yeah. I'd say over the last decade, right, there's been a lot of discussion and research done on the finance function, and finance is really, being seen as more of a strategic function inside the organization. So, that fundamental shift, I would say, has begun to occur. But really, it's tools like this that, allow finance, teams to deliver on that shift, right? Business conversations now are focused more on the business, right? It's really more of the A in the FP&A, right? It's that analysis piece, which really, is more forward thinking and really, kind of has elevated the finance team, within our organization and has allowed us to sort of guide the business in a more strategic manner. So, this new operating model has really, I would say, set the standard for modern finance organizations.
Yeah, I would say that, we talked about this earlier, that, it also probably helps you become more of an asset and a partner to those other organizations that you're working with as well.
Exactly. Finance, I would say, is not just seen as an EBITDA hit, right? We are now, a strategic, business driver. I would say we're also more embedded with the business and really seen as a business partner to other functions in the organization.
I mean, any last word that you want to say to CFOs who are out there who are saying, hey, we have trepidation going down this path with AI and agents and things like that?
Yeah, I would just say the technology obviously is evolving very quickly. I mean, what we have built in Prophix One Intelligence and with the agents that are now really transforming the way that we work as an organization and really the way that we think of finance internally. So, jump in 2 feet and begin to use the tool and take advantage.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Aaron, for coming on board.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this episode of The Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix. We'll be back in a moment. Hello and welcome back to this episode of The Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix. We're here in beautiful Toronto, wrapping things up at the end of the day, but I gotta say that, I'm really excited to have Vidya Srinivasan on, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for Prophix. Welcome on board, bringing all the energy here at the end to help me bring things back together. So welcome on board.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and it's been a great day so far, hearing from all our leaders, and looking forward to wrapping things up.
Yeah, I think that this has been just a lot of really good stuff around trust and privacy and how there's transparency in everything that Prophix is doing. But if I'm a customer on the other side of the glass there, I might be asking, okay, when can I get my hands on this? And what's your answer to them when the AI agents will be available to them?
Yeah, to be very concrete, it's going to be available end of the month. So for any of our customers who are using Prophix One today, they will have access to AI. It'll automatically show up once they, consent to use AI. And you probably heard from our CTO and our Chief AI and Trust Officer already. This is a big part of making it really easy for our customers to get access without having to re-platform or do any major implementations to get access to AI. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I love how it just appears. That was part of it. Now that we're kind of taking another step back and looking at it from the customer perspective, what is some of the value proposition they can expect to extract from this, and really what makes Prophix's approach to AI different for the office of the CFO?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with what makes Prophix One different, and again, reiterating some of the common themes that you heard from Anurag and Jeff. Trust, security, and privacy are non-negotiable in the way we've kind of architected Prophix One. So trust, security, and privacy is at the core of what Prophix One is, and Prophix One Intelligence is built on. You also probably heard about our explainable glass box AI. A lot of AI out there today are black box, right? You don't see what's under the hood. But with Prophix One, the way you interact with the co-pilot, it is really auditable, explainable, and really driven through human decision, human strategic insights, as opposed to AI making decisions for us. And then, you also heard about our re-architecting the platform and the Prophix One being future ready. So that's some of the efforts that, we kind of foresaw a few years ago to completely re-architect and modernize our platform ground up, which really makes AI that much more powerful because it's future ready for customers to leverage from day one and not have to worry about re-platforming, re-implementing things as they scale and grow with Prophix. And ultimately, it's not about, just talking about buzzwords. We actually deliver autonomous finance through our platform, and we're really excited that our customers are going to get access by the end of the month.
Yeah, I think that to me is one of the keys, to giving them, clarity, capacity, and confidence. Those words kept coming up over and over again today. What else can you elaborate on from there's 3 pillars that we talked about earlier on. How does that make it different for those finance teams?
Yeah, so the core 3 pillars of outcomes that we drive for customers through Prophix One and Prophix One Intelligence is clarity, capacity, and confidence. And what, as finance professionals, I'm sure everyone in the office of the CFO really want to ensure that whatever data they have full visibility to it. And I think, Anurag mentioned real-time access. So nobody wants stale data. So knowing that your data is the single system of truth, you have full visibility to your organization's data, and it's real-time, provides the clarity that the teams need to be able to function and be strategic in what they need to do for their organization. The second piece is capacity, and I know Alok mentioned that in his segment, which was really around ensuring that you can scale a lot more capacity of your organization with minimal number of menial tasks that your teams have to do. So really focusing on scaling the capacity of the team is a big part of what Prophix One delivers through the agentic AI. And finally, nobody wants to, be in a place where they have to double, question what data they have in front of them. They want to have the certainty to be able to make the decisions they need to make. So our data and our Prophix One platform provides the confidence they need to be able to make decisions with certainty for the organization.
Yeah, I think Aaron hit on that a little bit about how his team, in the office of the CFO here is using it for that, and how it's powerful that there's also the human in the loop, and it's explainable and explainability, which Jeff talked about as well. And I think that all brings it back to those three pillars. So it's a super powerful vision for the office of the CFO as they go out into the future. Kind of, what do you think everybody on the other side of the glass here should be doing? What is their call to action for them all today?
Yeah, I mean, I hope everybody tuned into our launch webcast here. But beyond this, obviously for people in EMEA, we have a little bit of roadshow coming up in London, which is our Prophix One live event, where we will have a little bit more hands-on experience that we're going to provide our users in London. And, obviously this is not just for customers. Anybody who's interested in learning more about how they can, more about Prophix and more about Prophix One, we would welcome, for them to reach out to us. And it's very simple. Just go on to prophix.com/autonomousfinance, and you can really see the agents in action and also get more information on how to engage with Prophix and the Prophix team to experience the next generation of finance with a single click.
I love it. Well, thank you for having us up here. Got to a nice sunny day in Toronto, and it's really been a great day. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
And thank you for watching this episode. We'll be back with a little bit more from the Future of Finance Revealed. Stay tuned. As we close the Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix, it's really become clear that the CFO's office hasn't been leveraged to its full potential. Manual, repetitive work has really dragged down the entire business, and it's time for a new model. Autonomous finance is the powerful combination of human strategy and AI execution. It's built on three outcomes every finance leader should be aiming for. That's clarity, instant answers from a single source of truth, capacity, freeing up teams from the grind to focus on that forward-looking strategy, and confidence, explainable AI that you can trust with your most critical decisions. Prophix AI agents don't just assist, they act. They can launch budgets, create board-ready variance reports, and eliminate hours of manual work, giving finance teams the space to think, plan, and lead. This is how finance moves from reconciling the past to shaping the future. Built for finance, by finance, it's here now. Thank you for watching the Future of Finance Revealed by Prophix on theCUBE, the leader in tech analysis and news.